If you keep repeating mistakes in your life, there gets a point where you kind of lose patience with yourself. You feel as if you should have already learned this before. You shouldn't be making this mistake again. You start to feel kind of fed up with yourself and really just expect better from yourself. I need to be better than this. I already learned this stuff. And why am I still doing this? And maybe you relapse to whatever activity we're speaking about, and you relapse and you do it over and over and over and over again. And like the 100th time, you're in this state where you're just distraught and you feel like super shameful and you're just expecting so much more from yourself than what's actually happening. And this is the trap. This is actually what keeps you stuck in this process of constantly relapsing back into your mistakes. This is what happens when you're operating from shame. You avoid that shame and you actually keep doing that activity that's shameful. It's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. The more shameful you feel, the more guilty you feel for not learning your lessons, the more you make that mistake over and over and over and over again. And I wish I'd known this earlier, because for the longest time I felt super guilty because I got into spirituality, I think, at quite a young age. And I read all of these books and I learned so much about it. Like, I just intellectualized the whole thing. And then I started expecting so much from myself because I had all of these lofty spiritual ideas and concepts to compare myself to. My ego just latched onto these things. And every time I did something that wasn't aligned with the type of person I wanted to be, this ideal that I had created for myself, I felt a lot of shame. And what did I do? I escaped into those behaviors more to avoid the shame. So the point of this whole video is pretty much I thought to myself, what would I say to my younger self as he's going through this perpetual cycle of just relapsing back into old behaviors and feeling all of the shame and guilt? I would tell him to be kinder to himself, to be more patient with himself, to pay attention to what's actually going on, to be aware, and to let whatever is going on, the universe, whatever it may be, just this teacher that is life, to take over, to be patient like life is patient, to just repeat your mistakes with awareness and learn from them in that way. Don't feel shame, don't feel guilty, don't feel this expectation to be better than you are right now. And just watch what happens right now as you do the things that you quote unquote don't want to do. What are the good things? Like, why do you keep relapsing back into this behavior? What are the benefits? How does it quieten your mind? What do you gain from it? And just really sink into these sensations. Something that I love, this idea that awareness alone is curative. And it's not as much an idea as just a fact of reality. When you pay attention to the things that are happening in your life, everything falls into place naturally. You don't have to actually control every single small piece of the puzzle. You just pay attention and you go where you need to go. The lessons are repeated until you learn. And the lessons all have a core theme. The thing that we're actually all learning as we're relapsing, as we're suffering, as we're learning more about ourselves and just the pain of this life, the thing that we're learning and the thing that it always comes back to is self-love. Like, this is the highest teaching. And the universe is infinitely patient and designed in a way where you will keep repeating your mistakes until you learn self-love, until you realize, oh, that was the answer. It was all about self-love. It was never about anything else. It was just about self-love. And if you've repeated your mistakes a bunch of times and you've meditated, you've probably got a glimpse of this and how everything just comes back to self-love, self-love, self-love. And by self, I mean self with like a capital S. Love of just this, whatever this is. And it just keeps coming back to that. So look out for that. Pay attention to that. See how that is the truth. Just being kind to yourself, being kind to others, loving what is already happening is what's actually trying to be taught from our suffering. That's about it from this video. Hopefully you enjoyed. And if you did, feel free to like and subscribe. And as always, peace and love.